Fra Angelico's Last Judgement, recently restored and returned to the hospice room of the St. Mark's Museum in Florence, has always been considered one of the artist's favorite and popular paintings. The unusual shape of the panel, with its characteristic three-lobed profile, perhaps derives from the work's singular destination. The painting probably decorated the comitium of the choir, seat in the disappeared convent of St. Mary of the Angels in Florence. The Last Judgement is a complex work, interwoven with references to the learned doctrines that circulated in Florence in observant circles. In particular, the altarpiece has been related to the theological thought of Ambrogio Traversari, a Camaldolese monk, prior of St. Mary of the Angels, with documented interests in the field of art and Eastern patristics. At the center of the panel, in the cusp, Christ the Judge is placed within a mandorla of light, surrounded by a dense array of angels, arranged all around, each with a position consistent with the position they occupy in the angelic hierarchy. With a skillful and well-established gestural code, Christ raises his right hand towards the risen faithful, so as to exhort them to go to the gates of the heavenly Jerusalem. With his left hand, instead, he makes an imperious gesture towards the damned, who populate the right side of the scene and are about to enter hell. To the left of Jesus is the Virgin. On the right is St. John the Evangelist. Both figures are flanked by a double tribune of saints and apostles. Unusual among them is the inclusion of figures from the Old Testament in a prominent position, such as the figures of Abraham and Moses at the sides of Christ. This aspect probably reflects the ecumenical conceptions of the religious man, aimed at a reconciliation of the Western and Eastern branches of the Church. In the lower border of the angelic choir are an angel with a cross, and two angels of the Apocalypse blowing trumpets. Their sound awakens the dead, leaving the tombs uncovered, highlighted prospectively. This structure, synecdoche of the resurrected bodies, symbolically traces the path to the resurrection, where the uncovered sepulchre in evidence, that of Jesus, is followed by all the others. The row of sepulchres in the center, and the empty sarcophagus, are an essay in the magnificent mastery of perspective space, guiding the viewer's gaze deep into a blue horizon blurred in the distance. The clear, distilled light of the background not only gives perspective depth, but also symbolizes the divine lumen that, according to the philosophy of St. Thomas Aquinas, shines in the geometric order of creation. On the left is the idyllic depiction of paradise, where in a magnificent garden, painted down to the tiniest detail, a group of refined and beautiful angels engage in a serene roundabout. The episode seems to be taken from a passage in Plato's Republic, particularly in Book 9, where the immortality of the soul, the prize reserved for the just, is spoken of. At the time, it was believed that the movement of the celestial spheres generated a harmony complementary to that of the soul. According to a theory already expressed by Pythagoras in the 4th century before Christ, and taken up by Saint Augustine, Clement of Alexandria, and Boethius. Thus, music, mathematics, and numerology were seen as a key to approaching God and the mystery of creation. In the background we see the gate to paradise, where two blessed are welcomed by divine grace, symbolized by rays of light. On the right we find instead, in contrast to the previous one, the representation of hell, where devils forcefully chase the damned into it, who are then sorted into their respective circles, where they suffer punishments according to the retaliation. Sloth, with the damned immobilized by serpents. Lust, where snakes and toads bite the genitals of the guilty. Wrath, where people bite and wound each other. Gluttony, with sinners forced to abstain from food, despite the unclean dishes placed before them. Avarice, with the damned forced to swallow molten gold. All this is accompanied by flames everywhere and devils piercing with their tridents. At the bottom is Satan, with his triple head, intent on devouring three damned. In each of the two groups are people from all social classes. Kings, popes, princes, bishops, monks, aristocrats, or simple commoners. The work is stylistically related to the manner of Lorenzo Monaco, but possesses a scansion of planes in perspective that demonstrates an early interest in a Renaissance setting of space. The composition with the vanishing point in the center seems in fact inspired by Lorenzo Ghiberti, although no particular work is known from which Angelico drew. The scenes of violent action of the damned also recall some typical stylistic features of the Renaissance sculptor, as in the expulsion of the merchants from the temple, in the North Gate, or the capture of the Baptist on the baptismal font in Siena. A painting that is very particular in shape, and rich in novelty in its treatment of the subject, which reveals Fra Angelico's mastery in being able to absorb the instances of the time and translate them into a pictorial language that, although complex and articulated, has always been appreciated, so much so that it has become one of his favorite paintings by audiences of all ages.